Welcome back to episode 7 of our Rebooking the World Wrestling Federation in 1992. In our previous episode, we've learned quite a bit that we have a steroid problem because a lot of guys are using. Bulldog got busted. But the only one we really care about is hard drugs. So steroids we don't care about right now. But it's quite a bit of guys that are using steroids. We've had 4 positive hard drug results. Bulldog, after we calmly talked to him, said, "Mind your business. Stay out of my business," essentially. The other 3, Roberts, Jannetty, and Spicoli, were like, "Yeah, boss, of course, I'll do better." Well, Bulldog is the only one that gave us attitude. It's pissed me off a little bit, quite frankly. Like, it's made me a little annoyed that was the response that I've received. But I'm going to try to not let it impact any of my booking ideas and plans for now. But yeah, that's certainly annoyed me. We looked at our finances, and for the month we are positive, almost $15.5 million. As I've said before, our production costs alone are about $13.5 million. That's for the whole month, the 13.5. So we're on pace for around 30. That's not including any type of merchandise or the Royal Rumble buy rate and sales and all that. So we should be in a pretty decent spot. I believe it also includes marketing. Yes, marketing is also incorporated in that. So production and marketing for our finances is about $13.5 million. Medical, who knows, back office, I'm not sure. That might have also been in the finances, but I didn't, or the production stuff, I don't know. Well, I'm not going to keep on going back in there. Travel, we're paying the travel for a lot of these guys. I think most of that is like overseas stuff though, but I don't know. We'll deal with that when we come to it. On this episode, we have Primetime Wrestling, which is of course our 2-hour program, and then another live event. And then essentially our next episode is the longer form one, where we're just going to go through all the TV. So Superstars, another live event, and then Challenge, and then the Royal Rumble itself. So in the game here, as you can see, we are 6 days away from crowning a new WWF World Champion. We haven't had one since, I believe it was like early December of 91. And we have plenty of different directions that we can go in. I'm not going to spoil it for where we're going to go. That's the whole point of these of this series, is to see the booking as I explain and all that. I'm not going to be like, hey, this is what we're doing 3 episodes from now. What's the point in that? There's not really a lot of change. We've noticed Pillman got suspended. I didn't mention Carl Ouellette getting an offer from the UFWI, but there's that. Not really a big deal. For our event histories, we had our most successful house show in terms of a score of 81%. That might be our highest rated show in general for the month. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, we've been usually hovering around high 60s to low 70s. The previous one was a 77 there for Superstars. So we had a pretty good house show. Maybe I'm getting better with booking matches. I don't know. But yeah, let's get right into this. Primetime Wrestling, a 2-hour show. We're going to start off with a major special announcement. And that is the WWF President Jack Tunney is announcing that the wrestling legend Andre the Giant will be at the Royal Rumble. And he will award the WWF World Championship to the winner of the 1992 Royal Rumble. I felt like that was a great way to use Andre, quite frankly. I believe looking at the roster page, we have him for like 20 appearances. I don't think we're going to be using him for 20 appearances at this point. He certainly doesn't have the health to wrestle in the game. But we can absolutely utilize him in this manner, I think. So what a moment it would be for Andre the Giant to come walking down the aisle and awarding the championship to whomever wins the title. Kind of like probably a passing of the torch, I guess, in some aspect of it, for Andre to kind of endorse the winner, assuming that he would like him. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Our first match, we're going to go with the Beverly Brothers, continuing their momentum here on television, with Blake Beverly delivering the head spike on Louie in about 6 minutes. We then get a quick promo by Tatanka saying that he's going to make his tribe proud by becoming the WWF World Champion at the Royal Rumble. Of course, again, this is just quick-hitting Rumble promos that we're trying to accomplish. Nothing too long, nothing major. Shawn Michaels is going to defeat Jimmy Snuka, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, with a super kick in about 7 minutes. And Snuka's not happy about this. I don't understand. Again, I don't understand why. Why don't you want to lose a Shawn Michaels? The momentum, and just, I don't know, it's just kind of silly. $1 Million Man, the $1 Million Champion, Ted DiBiase, is showing off his beautiful $1 Million Championship, and it says that the WWF World Championship is going to look like $1 million around his waist. He's a $1 Million Man, and he always gets what he wants. Of course, that being the World Championship. Quick-hitting Rumble promos, no harm, no foul. Let's go to Papa Shango, defeating Nikolai Volkov around 5 minutes with a shoulder breaker. And afterwards, Coco Beware runs into the ring after Papa Shango's victory, and he drop kicks Shango over the top to the floor, but Shango retreats up the aisle as Coco is held back in the ring by officials screaming for Frankie. So we get a little bit of revenge, like not revenge, but you know what I mean. Momentum, maybe, where Coco is like standing up for it, and he's not going to just allow the Voodoo Man to take his best friend. So Shango has been pretty dominant in the segments and obviously taking the parrot. So Coco's got to show some fight. Get the crowd rallied behind him as he looks to get his best friend back. Of course, now there is no, Shango doesn't have like a cage or anything with him. So Shango's just out there wrestling. Frankie is nowhere to be seen. Just kind of continue the whole like what is going on type of deal. Let's go to El Matador defeating Hercules with a flying forearm smash in about 6 minutes. That's just to give Tito a TV win and continue his momentum. We go to an Undertaker Rumble promo. Paul Bearer leading the promo, talking about how the Undertaker is looking forward to having 29 victims at the Royal Rumble and regaining possession of the World Championship. Of course, Undertaker does his rest in peace line. We then go right into it, just a video package promoting the Savage, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Elizabeth feud for about 3 minutes. Just a freshen us up on that. Remind the fans of the dastardly things that Jake Roberts has done, the things that he's teased to do. Noting that if Elizabeth gets in the ring, he's not hitting a woman at that point. In his mind, he's not hitting a woman. She's entering herself to be in a different role, I guess you could say. Let's go to the Nasty Boys defeating the Bushwhackers in about 10 minutes after Knobbs delivered a running power slam to a Bushwhacker Butch. Same idea. Just give the Nasty Boys as many TV wins as we can as we head into the Royal Rumble. Want them to continue to look like a viable contender to the Legion of Doom. And the Bushwhackers, I mean, I feel like I could have them lose a match every day for 3 years, and the fans are still going to do the arm taunts and pop for them. So they're the ideal team to help elevate heels, I think, at this point. We go to a quick promo by Boss Man promoting the Royal Rumble. Similar to the previous weeks, he's dishing out law and order. Doesn't matter who it is, he's going to serve up some justice to become the WWF World Champion. Texas Tornado is going to defeat Dino Bravo in about 5 minutes following the discus punch. Everybody likes a good Texas Tornado match, right? Get that push in there for Kerry. Rick the Model Martel defeating Owen Hart in about 10 minutes with the Quebec Crab. This is pretty self-explanatory, right? Ideally, these two are going to have a good match. Martel beating Brett's younger brother on TV just a few days before the Rumble match with Brett. You know, it's basic storytelling. So, yeah, Owen loses, but we're still very early into anything that would be of substance for him in a singles capacity. Get a good match out of it. Martel gets a good quality win, making him look like a better challenger for Brett. You know, and that's kind of the ideal goal here. British Bulldog, the man that told me to mind my business because he tested positive for drugs. People are thinking he's all bark and no bite. Since he's become a single superstar, he's going to remind people that he's all about biting the 29 superstars and winning the WWF World Championship. And we're going to see what the Bulldog is all about. That feels like something Bulldog would talk about, right? Yeah, I thought so too. Ric Flair is going to have his TV match here. This might be the first one we've done for him on TV. He's going to beat Jim Powers with the figure 4 leg lock in about 5 minutes. And then in our main event, Sid Justice is going to defeat the Warlord in about 5 minutes with the powerbomb. So we've kind of, I feel like we loaded up more so with star power match-wise on this show. There were a few enhancement matches, as you can see. But a lot more like notable names are wrestling each other. So I'm hoping that will help with popularity potentially, or in how the show is like rated. So let's see how it went. Let's not waste any more time. We're in Massachusetts this time around. Again, I mean, I could look into this. Maybe I should just do this as we do the shows, and I'll change my mind. But the idea is like 20,000 fans could potentially be here, right? The idea, like the mindset of spending, like right here, $185,000 on an arena. I don't know. Like that's. I guess I think I'm just cheap. Honestly, I really do. We could just do the Boston Garden. 147,000. TD Garden I don't think that obviously didn't exist in 92. So, I mean, there's times I could probably pick an arena that just doesn't even exist. You know what? This isn't bad. The Centrum. Let's go to the Centrum. 13,000, 91,000 roughly for the fee. We'll go there. Yeah, so we're going to potentially about 3,000 more people if we sell it out. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. Let's see how this show works out for us. Hopefully a little bit better. All right. Only 71%. I was hoping for a little bit more for Andre. That's disappointing. Tunney improves, Andre goes down. Fantastic. All right. 2 stars for the Beverly Brothers against Reno Riggins and Louis Piccoli. Crowd's still not all that into it when it comes to the Beverly Brothers. But, it probably doesn't help that we don't have them in a major angle right now. So we might have to look into maybe do an undercard tag team feud for their momentum to change, or have the crowd care about them at this point. 2 stars though, 52%. We'll take that for a TV show. Tatanka, 71%. Not the greatest of promos, but we can live with that. A star here. The crowd was into this a little bit. Shawn Michaels gets a boost. Super kick. So Snookum was obviously not happy with doing the job, but he didn't impact the match negatively. It's important to note that. 64%. That's from the most the crowd has been into the action so far. Of course, that's just comparing to one match, the Beverly Brothers, but I feel like that's a good TV win for Shawn. DiBiase, 81%, just talking about the Rumble. Papa Shango. So Volkov, proving that he is in fact lazy. Didn't put in a lot of effort. This gets a dud. And then Shango got a decent bump there, almost 1 full percent for popularity. Coco Beware, 76%. Okay, good. That's good. Crowd getting into it. A nice bump for both. There, more so for Shango, but Coco, that's a positive thing there. That's good. Al Matador and Hercules, 2 stars. Crowd decently in there. This is all right. I'm feeling a little optimistic. A nice little small bump there for Al Matador. Undertaker promo, 94% with him and Paul Bearer. The video package, 94%. I wonder if video packages are going to be like a cheat code for us to do that. I have no problem using video packages to get the story over. You know what I mean? Now, we can't be doing the same like promos over and over and over again. So that will help us right there. And getting our big stars on TV will be huge. Nasty Boys defeating the Bushwhackers gets a 1.5 stars. Crowd was into it. Pretty decent rating there. 10-minute match. It looks like nobody had any breathing problems. So that's relief. Bushwhackers went down a little bit. And then no extra rub for the Nasty Boys. Bossman, 75%. For his usual hard time promo about the Royal Rumble. 64% crowd reaction. You got 60 there. 0.5 star for Texas Tornado defeating Dino Bravo. He got a little bit of a bump here. And then it says Dino had a boost in his performance because of his gimmick, but then he could have put in more effort. So that seems like there's a contradiction there a little bit. He could have done more, but he looked pretty good because of his gimmick. I don't know. 3.5. Okay, this is good. 3.5 stars for Martel and Owen. This might be the best TV match we've had. Interestingly enough, they both went down in popularity here, which is a little weird. But the crowd was enjoying it, and then overall, that was a pretty successful segment, I would say. Bulldog gets a bump. I had a better promo than I expected. 86%. Ric Flair and Jim Powers gets 2.5 stars. Again, crowd pretty much into it. I'm sure that was because of Flair in his antics. Although Powers is not a bad enhancement guy, so I should probably give him a little bit of credit. With more time, they could have had a better match. Okay, that's good to know. That is good to know. 73%. Is that the match of the night? Technically, from even the crowd reaction, yes. So star rating wise, Owen and Martel had a match of the night, but overall, so far, that would belong to. Yeah, I don't think it's even close. It's Flair and Jim Powers. Way to go, Jim Powers, I guess. In our main event, crowd was electric for it, as Sid Justice defeated the Warlord. Negative star. Warlord wouldn't sell. They have bad chemistry, of course. huge popularity jump here for Sid, 2.7. Is it because he beat another monster? Wow, that's huge. That's incredible. That's the biggest jump we've seen so far. And we lost more popularity. Gotta love it. 68% for primetime wrestling. This show really makes me. This game makes me feel like as if I just suck. But I mean, look, we're free falling. We started at 79, and now we're at 77.3, which I guess isn't like absolutely horrible, but it's also not the greatest feeling. Primetime Wrestling got 3.7 views for viewership there. We sold out 13,000 tickets, gave us just over $756,000. Okay, let's look at our finances. We're at 17.7 for the month. And then real quick, let's go to our, I think we lost a couple of ratings from last week. 3.7, yeah, 3.9. All right. That's not too bad. I mean, I think it'll be a lot easier to once we get a world champion. I think the booking for me is just going to be a lot easier to really kind of flesh it out. You know what I mean? When you don't have a world champion, the house shows kind of drag. You know, I can have the world champion on TV. I will absolutely have whomever I have winning the world title on the shows defending the title. That's just how I'm going to do it. It didn't happen a lot in 92 unless it was Bret Hart later on in the year, but I think that's what we're going to have to do. Now, we're 3 days away from the live event, so we got to do it next day a couple of times here. Eddie Guerrero is signed with the UWFI. Same thing with Carl Ouellet and Hector Garza. I'm dreading any type of drug testing or something major happening for our company. There's a local indie show. Oh, wow. There's actually matches on this. Oh, okay. I'm not going to know anybody. Well, Funaki, of course. It's a Japanese show, though. 16%. Wow. Okay. Mental exhaustion for this female wrestler. Let's see what this is about. So she needs rest. Burnout. Well, wait, it's saying he there. Am I losing it? Yeah, no, this is... Yeah, okay, female. It's definitely female. So this is probably just a typo then in the description. Yeah. Pushing through the fatigue, heavy match load, near constant travel and catching up. The decision to step back was reportedly encouraged by producers and locker room leaders alike. It's not a punishment. It's just basically to preserve her career. That's what Dave Meltzer said. All right, I know we have one male thing there, but we have to do another day before we can get to the live event. So let's do that. So, okay. They are leaving New Japan, All Japan. A bunch of New Japan guys are leaving. Kenta Kobashi left All Japan. Kenzuki Sasaki left New Japan. Mr. Pogo left Wing. Jerry Lynn has left the GWF. We didn't sign Jerry Lynn, and I forgot about it, did we? Chris Kanyon, oh boy. Chris Kanyon has entered the wrestling world. Well, I'm going to have Chris Kanyon as a enhancement guy. Right? I mean, that's just is kind of common sense here. Okay. Superstars on TSN. Okay, we had 284 viewers, 61,600 in income. Okay, so first off, let's see what Jerry Lynn is doing. Is he just unemployed? Okay, no, he went to Frontier. Okay, he's an FMW. That's why he left GWF. Okay, so I remember I did want to sign Jerry Lynn, but I guess we'll have to wait about a year. to do that. That's not a big deal. Canyon, though, I mean, yeah, obviously he doesn't have a whole lot of big numbers or anything. Okay, he's known to be anxious. He's respectful. Will take big bumps. Fast learner. Maximum effort. Loves hardcore. Okay, well, we don't have the need for hardcore. Informal. $50. That's nothing. We're going to make an offer for him. So Canyon will be a babyface. He doesn't... Enhancement guys, they don't need a character. Canyon immediately accepted. Okay. So Canyon's one of our enhancement guys. No problem. Pretty easy. Pretty easy there. And, okay, I don't think there's anything else here. News, was there anything else that we didn't see? I don't know. No, this is worldwide stuff. Yeah, okay, we're all caught up. All right, let's go to our live event. We are going to go... So, you know what? We should probably stay. That was default. The Michigan was a default. I did not pick. I didn't pick Michigan. What is our projected attendance? 5,000. Okay, so let's go to like Maine maybe, and we'll do this. The Alfond Arena in Maine. If we can get above the 5,000 attendance, that'd be kind of cool. All right, let's get into the show here. We're going to start off with Shawn Michaels defeating El Matador Tito Santana with a super kick in about 12 minutes. We're then going to go to Roddy Piper and Ric Flair trading insults for about 8 minutes to promote their main event. It's the same deal. You know, Piper saying he's a phony with the dyed hair and the whitened teeth and all that, and you're wearing a skirt, dress, whatever. It's a kilt, blah, blah, blah. Same old insults there. Tatanka is going to defeat Skinner in about 8 minutes with the end of the trail. And of course, Skinner doesn't want to do the job, but oh well, you got to do it. Tatanka is going to be continuing his positive momentum. This is a first match that we've done, is The Undertaker defeating Big Boss Man in about 12 minutes with a Tombstone Piledriver. And I had mentioned before, Boss Man had done a promo where he kind of made note of Flair and Taker and the crimes that they've committed. So, we're kind of tying it into a house show. See if that impacts anything, if they have good chemistry or not. If this was 1999 WrestleMania 15 Hell in a Cell, the answer to that would probably be no. But we're not there. This is 1992. Maybe they can work a little bit better. $1 Million Championship match. Ted DiBiase defeating Texas Tornado with the $1 Million Dream submission pass out. We're going to do a clean victory there. No shenanigans. DiBiase just going to win outright. Now, we've seen a few times that Jimmy Snuka has been pissed off about losing and this, that, and the other. So I figured on this show here in Maine now that Snuka could win in about 10 minutes with the splash on Hercules. And I was surprised that Hercules was not like, I don't want to do that. But I guess he probably respects the legend that is Jimmy Snuka. And of course, a house show, a legend, icon of Jimmy Snuka probably would pop the crowd anyway. Coming out of intermission, I don't think that's any kind of issue for the most part. And then, of course, our regular tag team title match, same finish, LOD, going to pin Typhoon after a top rope clothesline. Another one of the first times we've done this match is Hacksaw Jim Duggan teaming up with the Bushwhackers to defeat the Beverly Brothers and the Mountie. Of course, now Duggan's going to pin the Mountie with the running clothesline. Mountie has been getting over on TV. And it hasn't really impacted anything from him losing on the house shows. And I love that. I think we can have a lot of fun with the Mountie as we continue on with this series. In the main event, about 15 minutes long, Piper is going to make Ric Flair pass out to the sleeper hold. I feel like that's a pretty solid show. Maybe a little bit weaker on the undercard, but not too bad. The match times are longer than probably usual, But, yeah, I feel like we kind of filled this out pretty well. And again, we're only a few days away from the Rumble. The last thing I want is like a major injury before the pay-per-view. So let's see how this show translates to the fans here in Maine. All right, Sean and Tito they get about 2.5 stars. Crowd was decently into it, 63% for the score. Not too bad. Seems like a pretty decent opener. Obviously a great segment between these two guys. And of course, Perfect involved in there as well. Not a great match between Tatanka and Skinner. But Tatanka still benefits from it. Undertaker and Bossman, crowd was into it. 64%. The match quality not great, but not bad. I think I'll take any, especially on house shows. I think anything over like 60 for this is not bad. 1.5 stars between DiBiase and Texas Tornado. Crowd was also seemingly into this a little bit. 64% total. -star. I mean, that's to be expected, I guess. That's just like hey, Snuka, have fun on a house show winning. There's no purpose there. 0.5 star for LOD and the Disasters. Crowd responding pretty well to it. I'm wondering when we do the Rumble match if the Nasty Boys and LOD will be anywhere near this. That'll be interesting to kind of keep a note of that. 6-man tag, -star, of course. 13 minutes, so everybody was exhausted. No changes there. Not a good match. In the main event, 2.5 stars, 79%. So they carried the segments in general here. All right, in total, our show is 82%. That is the best show we've put together. All right. That's a win. Right? I would say that's a victory. Okay. What is going on? We have we have a few notes here in our mail, or for the news at least. So WWF Live sold 4,855 tickets. So we wouldn't have even sold out the 5,000 seat arena. Just over 288,000 ticket sales, and then we only dished out just under 3 for the workers there for their claws. All right, so let's go to event history, because if I'm reading that right, so we go down to right here, right? Yeah. So in Maine, the seat, it was like just over. It was over 5,000. I think it was like 5,700 or something like that. So we would not have sold out a 5,000 seat arena. I don't think I'm surprised by that, judging by what we have on the undercard. If we had used, let's say we got rid of Snuka and Hercules and we put in Randy Savage or something against Hercules, we probably would have got a higher attendance figure. I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, let's go to our news, because there was some news in here. So Terry Taylor has dedicated to fitness, shocking the locker room with his new physique. In a surprising turn that's got everyone in the locker room talking, Terry Taylor has gone major personal transformation, and it's all thanks to fitness. Multiple sources say that Terry has caught the bug. After dabbling with a new training program, is now obsessed with strength training, nutrition, and overall health. The results are already showing, with his physique looking leaner, stronger, and more defined than ever before. What's more, he has reportedly become a gym regular, showing up to train and even mentoring other talents in the process. One colleague was overheard saying, "It's like Terry flipped a switch. This isn't the same person from a few months ago." The buzz has already reached the office, with some speculating that a renewed push could be on the cards if he keeps this up. Huh. Okay. Well, the trend with training continues, because Rod Price and Jacqueline Moore have bonded over the obsession with training. A strong friendship has quietly formed between Rod Price and Jacqueline Moore, with multiple sources saying the two have become near inseparable thanks to their mutual dedication to fitness, whether they're sharing workout tips, swapping protein shake recipes, or coordinating gym stops on the road. The pair have quickly become locker room regulars and motivators. Quote, they push each other in all the right ways, end quote, one trainer said. They're just not gym rats. They're competitive, supportive. They're totally dialed in. It's infectious. While the two may not always work closely on screen, the camaraderie behind the curtain hasn't gone unnoticed. Some agents have floated the idea of putting them together as a team, pairing them for travel and media appearances. Either way, it's clear that the bench press isn't the only thing that's on the rise. Their bond is, too. Okay. That's interesting. An interesting turn of events there. Terry Taylor, I guess, is shredded. And now Rod Price and Jacqueline Moore are also heavy into fitness. Okay, there's Power Hour. Not really anything to care about there. Okay, GWF had a show that had 20,000 viewers, and apparently nothing took place. I don't even know. I mean, I took a bunch of guys, and then Jerry Lynn left. Their finances are fine, though, according to this. I mean, they still have Gilbert. I mean, they got like a couple of guys, I guess, but Al Snow. Whatever. I don't know. I'm interested to see what we technically have. Yeah, we're low violence. Okay. We're more about crowd reaction. See, I knew that. Wrestling quality is never going to be... That's going to be WCW. Yeah, they're more so. They're leaning towards that. We're more about crowd reaction. That's important to remember that. What about New Japan? Yeah, that's heavy there. USWA, same. Yeah. Okay. Smoky Mountain, pretty much. All right. That's kind of what I figured. Now let's look at our storylines and see where they're at. Jannetty and Sean are about 78%. Okay. So this isn't bad. 89%, 82, 75. We're slowly growing the feuds here. Jannetty, of course, is off TV for a little while. Not anything to do with the drugs. He's just not... he's selling the injury for a little while. Okay. That is going to wrap up this episode. Next episode is going to be the long one, where we got Superstars, a live event, and then Challenge before we are done for the Royal Rumble. I'm really excited to finally crown a champion and really get this going as we would then build towards WrestleMania 8. Of course, if anybody has suggestions, requests, maybe a challenge, feel free to let me know. If you want me to sign somebody, I'm always open to, whatever the YouTube audience would like to see. Of course, my buddy Austin Skinner pleaded with me, begged me, even texted me. He was like, please sign Bill Irwin. So I did. Of course, we still have a bunch of guys that have not debuted. Again, that's going to be after the Royal Rumble that we'll start doing that. I'm pretty sure we're going to do like Justin Hawk Bradshaw, Tracy Smothers, Bill Irwin, essentially, and Steve Armstrong will be the first group, kind of known as the Outlaws right now, babyface team or a group of guys. I would like to get the Head Shrinkers on TV, Men on a Mission. Now, the only issue with some of this is that, the wrestling skills and great entertainment, though, is going to be important. Because, again, like it showed on the screen there, that we go really off of like crowd reaction. So, like entertainment, as long as entertainment's up there, then, we should be okay. And like the wrestling skills kind of decent as well. So we have a ton of guys to still bring into the company and kind of shake things up a little bit. And as I mentioned, I think in either the first or second episode, we have about a dozen guys that are going to be leaving. And of course, we signed nearly a dozen guys to replace them. Of course, that includes Harlem Heat, Stevie Ray and Booker T, a young version of them. Sean Waltman, Lightning Kid, who was going to be an enhancement guy. Let's face the facts, but we signed him anyway to make sure that nobody else would get him. But yeah, things are starting to heat up. Getting excited. Who is going to be the WWF World Champion? Do you have a request? Do you hope it's somebody? Do you want it to be Ric Flair, just like it was in real life? Do you want it to be Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Jake Roberts, Tatanka, Skinner, Jimmy Snuka, Bushwhacker Luke, Bo Beverly, The Genius? I don't know. The Royal Rumble is all about taking risks. And that is what we're going to do here in the rebooking of the WWF 1992. Be sure to join us for the next episode when we do Superstars, live event, and Wrestling Challenge, as we are inching closer and closer to the 1992 Royal Rumble. Who will Andre the Giant hand over the WWF World Championship to? There's only one way to find out, and that is to continue on with our rebooking the World Wrestling Federation in 1992.